Mr. Rohan is our chief programmer, and he's gonna tell you how he does the programming for robot.
So the way we structure our programs, we first start out with the base program. So then from there, everything else is extended off that. So the base program usually has all of the initializations of all the servos, motors, sensors, all of that stuff. So then from there, we have the teleop program, which extends the base program. So essentially how it works is that it calls functions to that base program. And then for the autonomous side, we have an auto tools program, which has certain tools that are similar between all the autonomouses, and that serves as the parent for all the autonomous functions. So then all of our autonomous programs, like our red primary, red secondary, blue primary, blue secondary, they extend from that auto tools. So that creates a certain hierarchy so that it simplifies your code and makes it easier to read. One more thing that I like to do is to add an auto constant class. So that just stores a bunch of variables so that you don't have to write it out every single time, and it stores it in a nice manner.
So Rohan, this season when your team built a brand new robot, and it was a brand new challenge. What did you do very first?
So I first just made the the configuration file based on what the motors are and how they were plugged in.
No, just the sweeper.
And then from there, we just went ahead and I just started from scratch or from previous programs that I've made with the same hierarchy, and then went up there.
All right, and I believe you just made this few days ago.
Yes.
So when you was writing program for this, how did you do? What was your first step? Did you use the program that you had for the previous robot, or you start from scratch?
Since this one's a completely different system, I pretty much started from scratch, as there's nothing similar to our old robots. So I just made the hierarchy again. Also, one more thing that's a little more advanced is to set up different Git branches for each of your different programs. So what that allows you to do is to keep a good version history and remote records of your branch, so that you know which commit did what, and you can have a clean point to go back to if you mess something up.
Awesome. And I also understand that when you were programming for this robot, the very first day you only had one function. Can you explain that process?
Which function?
You didn't try to write the entire program, but you only write one thing at a time, and then second and third.
Right. So what I first did, we just went by what's on the robot so far and what works. So I would first add one or two functionalities and see if that works. If it doesn't, fix those, and then keep on adding things one by one so that we don't have too much to add at once and too much to test.
So did you write the forward and backward movement as your first, or what do you typically choose as your first function?
I usually do driving, and then horizontal or vertical linear slides, and then servos are the last thing that I usually program.
You have to change the angle of the forebar.
Great. Thank you so much. And if any viewer want to ask any question, would you be okay to answer them?
Yeah, I would be great with answering any questions that you have.
Thank you, Mr. Rohan.